I don't review perfumes like most people on YouTube, and there's a reason for that. It's not because I think other reviewers are getting it wrong. It's because somewhere along the way, standing in my own shop, I realized I was being asked the wrong question. And once you notice a question is wrong, it's very hard to keep answering it the old way. So today, I want to explain how I actually think about fragrance, not the version I might perform for the camera, the version I use with real people, in a real shop, most days of the week. If you've spent any time around fragrance content, you already know the language: longevity, projection, sillage, compliments, performance, top notes, middle notes, base notes, and at the end, a number delivered like a verdict: 8 out of 10, 7.5, 9.2. None of that is wrong. I use most of those words myself. Most days, they're useful, they're just not the whole story. Here's what I've come to believe. Those words were never built to describe the full experience of wearing a perfume. They were built to describe the parts of a perfume that are easiest to measure. And the parts that are easiest to measure are almost never the parts that matter most. Let's actually sit with the number for a second, because I think it deserves more scrutiny than it usually gets. 8 out of 10. It sounds objective. It has a decimal point. It looks like science. But I want to ask a genuine question. 8 out of 10 for who? Is that an 8 for someone who loves oud, or for someone who can't stand the smell of it? Is it an 8 for someone who wants a fragrance to fill the whole room, or someone who only wants it noticed up close? Is it an 8 for the office, or for a first date, for a Tuesday, or for a wedding? A score can't answer any of that, because a score was never built to ask it. Underneath every rating, there's one person deciding what good means, and then handing you that decision dressed up as a fact. And here's where it gets interesting to me. We don't actually talk about anything else in our lives this way. Nobody says a song is a 7 out of 10. Full stop. No further questions. We understand instinctively that music is personal. We just seem to forget that the moment we start talking about perfume, because that's really what a lot of modern fragrance content has quietly turned perfume into. A specification sheet, as if fragrance were a phone. 12-hour battery life, a 50-megapixel camera, 8 gigabytes of RAM, numbers you can compare in a table, side by side, and declare a winner. So perfume gets the same treatment: 10-hour longevity, 8 out of 10 projection, 95% compliment probability, if such a thing even exists. Those measurements can be useful. I'm not throwing them away, but they don't tell you whether a fragrance belongs on your skin. A phone with the biggest battery isn't automatically the best phone for you. And in exactly the same way, the longest lasting perfume isn't automatically the best perfume. And the perfume that gets the most compliments isn't automatically the perfume that makes you feel the best. Sometimes the fragrance that gets the most attention from other people is the one that feels the least like you. Here's the part I think gets missed the most. Fragrance doesn't just sit on the top of your skin. It reacts with it. Your chemistry, your body heat, even the season, all of it changes how a scent actually behaves once it's on you. But that's only the physical side. The more important part happens somewhere else entirely. A scent can pull up a memory before you've even worked out what it is. One note might take someone straight back to their grandmother's kitchen. That exact same note might take someone else somewhere they'd rather not go. Neither person is imagining it. They're both right, and they're both smelling something completely different, even though it's the same molecule, from the same bottle, sprayed a minute apart. That's not a flaw in fragrance. That's the entire point of it. Perfume sits at the meeting point of memory, culture, age, personality, mood, the room you're standing in, the version of yourself you're trying to be that day. No review can account for all of that at once. Certainly, no single number can. So if "is this perfume good" is the wrong question, what's the right one? Is this perfume good for you? That one sentence changes almost everything how I talk about fragrance. Instead of asking how long something lasts, I'd rather ask when you'd actually wear it. instead of asking how much projection it throws. I'd rather ask how it makes you feel the moment it settles on your skin, what kind of person it makes you feel like, where it belongs in your life, whether it feels like you or like someone you're quietly trying to become. Those questions don't fit neatly into a rating, but they're the ones that actually matter. I spend most of my working days standing in a shop, watching people smell things. And there's something that happens almost every single day that changed how I think about all of this. Two people, sometimes only minutes apart, smell the exact same bottle. One of them closes their eyes and says, "That's incredible." The next person wrinkles their nose and says, "I really don't like that." Same fragrance, same shop, completely different reaction. Early on, some part of me assumed one of them had to be wrong. I don't think that anymore. I think they're both right. There's no universal nose. There's no perfume that everyone is supposed to love, and no perfume that everyone is supposed to hate. There's only what's true for the person standing in front of me. I've watched the same fragrance make one person feel confident and take another person straight back to a memory they didn't expect to think about that day. I've watched it work as attraction for one customer and pure relaxation for another. One fragrance, four completely different experiences. That's not an edge case. That's what happens every single day, with almost every bottle on the shelf. That's not a compromise I've made as someone who sells perfume for a living. That's the actual job. Now I'm going to say something that might sound strange coming from someone who owns a perfume business. I think owning a business makes honesty more important, not less. If I only ever told you what you wanted to hear, I might make one good sale today, but I'd lose something far more valuable than that one sale. I'd lose the reason you'd ever trust what I say the next time. So here's what that actually looks like in practice, not just in theory. If I don't like something, I'll tell you. If I think something is overpriced, I'll tell you. If I think you genuinely don't need it, I'll tell you that too. Standing in my own shop, in front of my own till. And if something is beautiful, but completely wrong for you, I'll tell you that as well. Because beautiful and right for you are not always the same thing. If something inexpensive smells incredible, it gets the same respect from me as anything with a designer name on the box. Value has nothing to do with the price tag alone. I'm not trying to maximize every sale that walks through the door. I'm trying to build something that outlasts any single sale. Trust doesn't come from one great transaction. It comes from every single moment you didn't try to squeeze one out of me. I want to be clear about something, because none of this is a criticism of anyone else doing this. There are genuinely brilliant fragrance reviewers on YouTube. People with real knowledge, real passion, and audiences who trust them for good reason. I'm not here to tell you they're doing it wrong. They're doing what they do. I'm choosing to do something slightly different. On this channel, I'm not going to hand you a list of bottles to buy and call it a day. What I actually want to do is teach you how fragrance works, why certain notes behave the way they do on skin, how to read past marketing and understand what you're actually smelling underneath it, how to avoid the kind of blind buy mistakes that cost people real money, how concentration actually changes a scent, not just on paper, but on you, how to think properly about value, not just price, how to build a fragrance wardrobe instead of a random shelf of impulse buys. And underneath every single one of those things, one goal that matters more than the rest. I want to help you develop your own nose. Here's something I don't think I'm supposed to say out loud, but I mean it. I don't want you to agree with me about every perfume. I actually want you to disagree with me sometimes. I want you to smell something I love and feel nothing. I want you to smell something I'm lukewarm on and fall completely in love with it. Because if that happens, it doesn't mean I failed. It means you're starting to trust your own opinion instead of borrowing mine. The goal was never to create people who follow what I say. The goal is to create people who understand fragrance well enough that they stop needing to ask anyone, including me, whether something is good. They already know if it's good for them. That's really the whole arc, if you think about it. It starts as, what should I buy? Then it becomes, what do I actually like? Then, why do I like it? And somewhere past that, if this channel has done its job, it becomes something much simpler. I know my own nose. Perfume was never really about smelling like everyone else. It was about finding something that feels like you. Not the version of you a rating decided was correct. Not the version that gets the most compliments in a comment section. The version that when you put it on, makes you feel like exactly who you are, or exactly who you're becoming. I'm not here to tell you what perfume you should love. I'm here to help you understand why you love what you love. Until next time, stay unforgettable.